Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys had a great 2-week vacation. I know I did. Did you have a good 2 weeks vacation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, we have another surprise for you this evening. We have two individuals who are collaborating with Chase Bank, and they wanted to speak to all the members of the class, and most of the members today are online, but they want to speak to you online about what services they have to offer, and in addition to what services they have to offer, how to develop your business so you can benefit from those services. So whether it's loans or whether it's grants, a lot of times we're not properly structured to take advantage of those opportunities. And so pretty much, have they called in yet? Are they in the green room? Okay, so I guess we can talk into it. Just give me some kind of cue when they hit the green room. That way I won't be here for long. And if they don't hit the green room within a certain amount of time, I'm about to break out of here and let Court do his thing. Another thing, too, is while you're at home, make sure you log into Miro, M-I-R-O. There's a link for Miro. Log in. We're going to Q&A from their discussion will happen on Miro, which we will upload to them, and they'll be able to ask in class. 2, when we go to the actual class that Court's put together today, we're going to actually engage and have conversations that we will also upload to Court, so he can actually provide feedback. And as well as, one thing I like about Miro is we get a chance to interact and engage. You know, we have a chance to have a conversation. Yeah, they on now? They on that? Okay. Hey, while we're waiting on them, let me share something that's kind of interesting. So when you learn the scale in business, as you guys know, I announced this, I think about a year and a half ago, maybe, about a year and a half ago, that I was going to start. That hat is hella tight, man. But is that your brand?
No, it's my buddy's brand.
Okay, yeah, I like that hat, man. This train go by. But let me say this real quick. Good, there you go. So I announced about 2 years ago that I was going to work on scaling 510 Media as opposed to just running 510 Media. And when you learn to scale a business, it's different than starting a business. It's a total different way or approach to everything. But in the process of learning how to scale my business, and it's a practice. There's no rival. You don't get a degree in scaling, right? It's something. It's just a different way you have to think about business, and then practice that to get to the point of scaling. And you got to let go of certain ideas and thoughts that you had about how the world works. You got to change your models, right? And so as I'm studying these new models, one of the ones that surprised the shit out of me. It didn't surprise me, but it's the way this model works. And the way this model works is this: that the more intelligent you are based upon where you are, the more you jeopardize your ability to be successful in business. So you say, what do you mean? So the market is totally irrational. But many of us, when we jump into business, we're relying upon our personal rationality to navigate our business. Let me say this again. The business market is totally irrational, but we're using rational decision making to make business decisions. You can't rely upon rationality to be successful in business. It has no place. Business is totally irrational. What you have to rely upon is models and principles. Right? What models of thought and principles, right? But quite often, because nobody told black folks that, yeah, you're very rational. And when you have this job, I had a young lady I was talking to the other day. She's like, yo, I want to get to this entrepreneur world. And I said, you do? She said, yeah. I said, let me just help you with something real quick. The world you in right now, I said, you don't realize you're institutionalized. She said, what? I said, you're institutionalized. She said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to show you something real quick. I'm going to show you. This is fun before we get into this. I said, if you let a guy out of prison who's been in prison for 30 years, and you buy him, they online? Okay. And you buy, he said, come here? Okay. Right now? While I'm speaking? Okay. Hold on one second, because I think they're having a communication problem. 1 second.
Institutionalized. Wow, that's a new one. That's a good one. It's exactly true. Institutionalized. Yeah, over the week I was really thinking about the masses amount of people who now have platforms to speak and look like experts and be able to speak on anything. So I believe this is the most dangerous times that we've ever lived in terms of information, because the amount of misinformation and disinformation that's out there is tremendous. It's in the millions now. And how can someone who is aspiring to grow and learn differentiate the effective from the non-effective? And so I think we've been defaulting to who got the most swag, who sounds the best, who's the most, who has the best mouthpiece, the most charisma, charm, and that's fucking dangerous. I was at 24 Hour Fitness the other day, and this OG who used to be a pimp, sees me, talk to me. Hey, Court, I ain't seen you in a minute. You back at Bayfair? Yep, I'm back at Bayfair. So we talked for a quick moment. And he's retired, so now all he's doing is planting his garden. And he commenced to tell me about St. Augustine grass in such a pimpish way. I was enthralled with St. Augustine grass. I remember it to this day. The way he spit it to me, the way he described it, his body, his posture, everything. And I was sitting there like listening, interested in this. And I'm like, that's some dangerous shit. Now I understand why you was a pimp. I thought about the grass. I looked it up later when I got home. I don't even give a fuck about grass. I don't got no place to put grass in my house. And that made me think, damn, you know how dangerous shit like this is? And on the internet, who gets the most views are the people like that. And they could be ex-pimps, not giving a fuck.
Well, our guest is online now, so I don't want to delay their time with us. We have guests that's going to be visiting online. Those of you in-house, I think I'm going to challenge you guys when you get home, just kind of watch their presentation, because once again, they're going to introduce you to different ways. They're two sisters who really care about their people, and they're trying to gain healthy people or lower the borders or the hurdles of access. And so their goal is to help small businesses get to a position where they position themselves to receive loans. Quite often, just talking to loan companies, they're struggling giving black people loans for business. And there's a combination of reasons that we don't know, and we don't know that we're failing in these areas. And so they're here to kind of introduce themselves and set you up to kind of, they have different systems and solutions to train people to get them ready to receive money from larger institutions. So that being said, can you go ahead and bring them online? And they'll do a full out presentation, and let's see what they have to say. I'm excited about this.
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear and see us?
Good evening. Are we sharing our screen, Nicole? Do you have the screen share?
I do not have the screen share, but I'm happy to just jump right in. Can everyone hear and see us? I want to make sure we're ready before we just get started. Yes? Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole. I am a senior business consultant. I work for Chase, and I'll pass it to my colleague to introduce herself also before we jump in.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Stacy Dickinson from Chase Bank. I work alongside Nicole with the Minority Entrepreneurs Group for Chase Bank in the Bay Area.
So, today, really, what we would like to share is about the Minority Entrepreneurs Initiative, which just launched recently in May of 2021. So, this is a relatively new focus on our small business commitment. And really, we are here to really share those details, Stacy and I. We're actually leading the work on the ground with the small business owners. And I heard it sounded like it was echoing a little bit. So, just trying to see maybe if that's just me. But I'm happy to go ahead and jump right in. And I also see that there is a chat function. So if there are questions, as Stacy and I are sharing, please let us know. And we're happy to answer those questions. We hear an echo. Yeah, it sounded like it went away. Um, but but yeah, we're happy to answer those questions. So I'll jump right in and really just share about what the Minority Entrepreneurs Initiative is. So it is JP Morgan Chase's focus on helping small businesses grow and scale. We are very specific and intentional on focusing on businesses that are really part of the underserved community. That really includes our focus on the Black communities, the Brown communities, our women, and our veterans. In addition to that, we are really doing this through mentorship and coaching. So it's not just learning all the information, it's also implementing it during that mentorship and coaching with Stacy or I. So this initiative is really given that focus, that detailed attention, really that time and that commitment one on one with small business owners. So you're not just learning, but you're implementing, you're executing, and we're able to see that growth realized in real time. So that is really what drives the success of the program, is really to have that one-on-one mentor for your small business. I'll just share a little bit about some of the areas that we do focus on when it comes to mentorship, and then after that I'll pass it to my colleague Stacy. We know that small businesses are struggling and there is a lot under the sun that you need help with, but we have a very specific area of expertise that we help you with. So we focus on the operational infrastructure of your business. So we take a look at your operational process, and we make recommendations on any efficiencies that you can implement for your business. We also focus on access to capital. So yes, there is a capital component. We know that the capital hasn't been available to all of the business owners, especially the Black and Brown communities. So we are helping business owners prepare for that capital and actually get the capital in hand. We also focus on business development. That includes marketing and certification. So, if a business owner wanted to be certified as a minority or woman owned business, we help them through that process. And the last component that we focus on is actually the team of trusted advisors. So, this is not centering Chase's needs, but centering the needs. You need to mute your speakers. Um, Centering the needs of actual small business owners. And so really that access to a team of trusted advisors is not just Chase centered, but it could be access to a CPA. It could be access to legal advice. It could be access to a website design entity. It could be any of those components. So those are really our areas of focus. And then I'm going to mute myself and put in these headphones, and then I'm going to pass it to my colleague, Stacy.
Okay. So we would love if you guys are in the chat or the comments, if there's any specific questions that you have, we'd be happy to answer those. But as Nicole said, there are the pillars we work with, but every journey with a business owner is going to be different because we like to center everything around your specific needs, your questions, your concerns. And as was mentioned earlier, a lot of this has to do with, getting you prepared for capital. Although we don't specifically ourselves provide lending, we do provide support to get you there. Especially in places where maybe you didn't feel like you had the information you needed in the past, or you didn't have a banker that was on your side to help you get there. That's part of our goal, is to make sure you have a team around you. You lean into the specific resources that we have, and we try to get you there as quickly as possible. Oh, I see somebody I know, Queen Bee. I see you, Vero. I think Nicole has headphones in, so she should be good now. Anything that we can, lean into for you guys? Any questions specifically that you have?
Are you able to hear me okay, Stacy?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
You should be better now.
Okay, perfect. I know Stacy shared some additional things as you are all putting some comments in the chat. Oh, I see. Nana said it sounds great. Oh, thank you. The one thing I also want to say is really I want to share some of the outcomes that we have seen so far, as you're kind of thinking of different questions. One of the things that we've really been intentional on is really thinking about what are the deliverables that we want to see small business owners achieve throughout that mentorship. So some of those outcomes that have come out of our relationships with business owners have really been an increase in revenue. So we've had one business owner report a 3,000% increase in her revenue since she's taken on the mentorship with Stacy and I. We've also had 4 small business owners get certified, and those certifications are now leading to larger contract opportunities or contracts with a specific target audience that they have for their business, such as larger like corporations. Another outcome that we have seen is really just larger contracts. So one business owner was typically getting contracts in like the $5,000 range, and then she was able to get a contract in the double digits. So we've seen the result as larger contract opportunities. And we've also seen business owners be able to hire as well. So through the mentorship, they really had an understanding of their finances, and they were able to take on and hire another person so that their business actually has the runway to scale and to grow. So really, I say this to say, like, it is very specific to the needs that you have as a business owner. It's not cookie cutter. It's not something that we have a standard, curriculum and we apply it to everyone. The curriculum is really the need that you have as a business owner. So it's very tailored, it's very customized, and we develop a relationship with you as the business owner to make sure that we could help you with those needs. So I just wanted to add that in there. But we would love to answer any questions or have any dialogue, only because this is relatively new. And so we're really looking to partner with anyone and everyone who's really interested in the mentorship.
And we're open
Questions?
to any questions, guys. It doesn't necessarily have to be even geared around your own business. Like if you can just think about something that you haven't seen out in the market, what are basic document requirements? How much information? If you're talking about working with us for documents, there's no documents required. You just want to tell us your business name, how long you've been in business. We usually go over your revenue, but you don't have to actually give us any financial documents. If you're talking about for certifications, then that's something completely different, and we can send you kind of a checklist of what's required, whether you're looking at the women-owned or the minority-owned business enterprise. Where would you say your industry and business size sweet spots are? Industry, I wouldn't say there's necessarily a sweet spot for industry. We typically see the most growth for businesses that have been in business for at least 2 years and have revenue of 100,000 or more. But that doesn't mean that we don't have resources for businesses that are less than 2 years or less than 100,000. We definitely have resources all around that. How would we contact you after today? We can put our information in the chat so you guys can email us
Just did it.
and reach out. Oh, okay. But just reach out to us directly. There is a landing page that we have, but it takes a lot longer to get to us. So you can definitely reach out to us via email. We can schedule a meeting with the two of us and we can go over your business. Is your focus on seed lending or VC lending?
The one thing I want to also add, as Stacy's kind of answered some of the questions, is we don't want to have a large barrier for small business owners to actually access the mentorship. So when it comes to accepting or taking it on, it really is determined by the size of your business. Like Stacy just shared, 2 years in business, typically 100,000 in revenue. But also, are you going to be committed to the time that it takes for the mentorship? We've seen the best results when people are committed to actually meeting with us on a regular basis, being able to do the homework, and really being able to be open about the needs that they have. And that's really where the magic happens. So there isn't a lot of barriers, and it is 6 months. It sounds like a long time, but it goes by really fast. So we really just look for that commitment from the small business owner as well.
And then focus on seed lending or VC lending. Honestly, like our focus between Nicole and myself is not on any type of lending, but getting you prepared to go out and get lending. We do have connections with some groups that do micro lending, startup lending. Obviously, we've got bankers that we work with that do conventional lending, SBA lending, all of that. If there's an opportunity that comes up that fits your need, we can definitely get you connected. But our goal is really to get you prepared to take that on. And kind of like Nicole had mentioned, we're looking for you to be committed. That's the biggest thing. And especially when it comes to, looking at lending, whether it's conventional or with a smaller lender, you still need to be prepared. And that's the biggest thing.
And I would also say that oftentimes business owners, they have that need, the capital need. And oftentimes, we're trying to prepare you to really take in that capital, regardless if it's from a traditional financing like a Chase, or if it's from a community lender. So, the lending is very, I want to say, broad in the aspect of it depends on the needs that you have. But we want to make sure that you're ready for that, and we always want you to access that capital, before you actually need it, so that you're not, pinned into a corner and trying to evaluate your options at a time where it's critical to your business. But I'm loving these questions. And I put our emails in the chat as well, so that you know how to reach out to us directly. Other questions? Oh, there we go. Does this program apply to businesses more so aligned with creative experience based endeavors versus a service or a product? So we do not have a particular industry that we focus on. We help all businesses, regardless if it's in the creative space, a product based business, or a service based business. The only ones that we do have restrictions on are like cannabis based business. But other than that, we are open to all businesses, and have helped many across the board. We've had an e commerce platform, we've had restaurants. We had law businesses, like small businesses that are, law practices. So, I mean, there's been a wide range, construction businesses as well. So, there's been a
Can
wide
you
range
guys,
to say the least.
yeah, can you guys give an example of what you mean, like with the creative experience based endeavors? Because I still think, depending on what you're talking about, like if you're talking about artist type businesses, things like that, that's still a product. So we can, kind of determine that once you give us an example. And then have you seen a difference in growth between business models such as business to business or business to consumer? I would say we've seen growth in both, because really the focus in what we do is helping a business owner to find the solution to a challenge that they're having. So whether it's business to business and trying to wholesale a product, or you're trying to provide a service from your business to a larger corporation or just another business in general, or if you have a product that you're selling direct to consumer, I think it really just depends on what your challenge is, so we can help you walk through it. What are your thoughts on getting a loan to end your corporate position?
Can you give a little more info, Colette? Getting a loan for your business to, like, maybe are you saying to resignate from your job? Is
Job,
maybe that's
yeah.
what you're referencing?
Let's
But
say
I
your
don't.
business isn't making money at the moment. Would it be advisable to wait for a consistent stream before seeking a loan and quitting corporate? Okay. I would say that the majority of lenders are going to be looking at your cash flow for your business. So if you're not making a net revenue, it could be a struggle when it comes to getting lending almost anywhere. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but I would definitely recommend that you speak to some of the CDFIs, which are the community group financial institutions, or some of the micro lenders, and see what they're looking for. I know from a financial institution point of view, we are looking at your tax returns to see that you are at a net positive. I don't think you should ever stop seeking funding, but it may be harder to get. Collateral and inventory requirement for loans, typically there is. Usually when you have a shortfall when it comes to collateral, they usually will look at SBA options if you're looking at a traditional lender, or micro lenders might be able to get creative. CDFIs can probably give you a small injection, but it's really going to depend on what your business is, what your cash flow looks like, basically your overall financial position.
And I think that's also the point of our mentorship too, right? Is that we're able to dive into those details about your specific business, and not every lender is created equal. A traditional lender like Chase or Wells or B of A, as an example, is not going to be the same as a CDFI. And each CDFI is not going to be the same as one another in the market. Some don't have a collateral requirement, some don't check personal credit score, some do. And so I think really we're still happy to answer more questions, but I also want to say that the mentorship is really geared towards really understanding those needs and being able to connect you specifically with the lenders that will help you. Okay, I'm going back to
You
the
want to
questions
grab that
here.
one?
Let's say your business isn't making money. Would it be advisable to? Oh, sorry. There's another one.
The
A
next
business
one, business.
curating and highlighting dining experiences in a city, not selling a product, but still could benefit from funding. Okay, so Kaja, so for instance, yes, so that type of business is like a service-based business, right? Like you're providing an experience to your potential clients, and that is something that we could still like work with you on. I would also say though, one of the things that when it comes to funding, especially in things that are like innovative or let's just say new to the market, they typically like to see that there's been some traction, there's been some progress, there's been some interest in that business, so that the funding is a little bit more likely.
So business owner required to be a personal guarantor for the loan. I would say almost in every case, you are going to be the guarantor. And that's just because if you think about it, your business is you. And so if you have started, I'm just going to pick the dining experiences business. If I create a business where I'm creating the service where I'm going to provide dining experience for people, if I decide to step away from the business, that business no longer exists, right? So I am the business. If I sell my business to Nicole, now she's the business. So she has to be the one to say, I guarantee this loan is going to be paid. If for some reason I quit the business, I decide to step away, I'm going to guarantee the loan. I don't think you can get away from that in many places, even if you have built up business credit over time. It's kind of just it's kind of a rule, just for the sake of managing that loan. And then the last one I see here is your take on business credit versus funding through business loans. I mean, if you're talking about business credit with business credit cards, I think it depends on what the need for the capital is. I think that every business can benefit from having a business credit card just because it gives you an opportunity to use somebody else's money, usually at a low cost if you're paying it off in full every month. It gives you more time to float your purchases if you need to. It gives you rewards back in most cases, and it allows you to keep your cash in your checking account, which always looks better to a lender. Funding through business loans, I think if you qualify for a loan and there's a purpose for it, it's a great tool for you to help grow and scale your business versus being strapped just to your checking account. But I think for you, Jordan, it's going to depend on the specific reason why you're asking that. And I think that would be a great conversation for you to have with Nicole and myself after this if you have something in mind.
And then the next one says, if you are self-employed right now and want to have a storefront, are you able to get a loan or a slash grant? So if you're trying to get a storefront and you already have an existing business, let's say you're already online as an example, and you're looking to do a storefront, like that loan could be feasible because you're expanding your business, right? If you're talking about you're starting off brand new and you're looking to just purchase a storefront, that could be a little bit more challenging. Yes, you can, excuse me, yes, you can apply for grants, but the one thing about grants is that always, they're not always, ready when you actually need the money, right? So like you can apply to 10 or 20 grants, and maybe that doesn't actually come through until 6 months later because there's a long process for them to review all those candidates. So a grant is always possible. Yes, but I wouldn't say a reliable source when you think about funding. And if you're expanding your business, yes, that loan is possible. If you're trying to purchase a brand new business doing a storefront, that could be a little bit more challenging. And then I see, is there a minimum credit score for personal guarantor? So every institution has a different credit score, right? Some lenders, community lenders, they may not even check your credit score. I don't know necessarily if Chase has one in particular.
I think it depends on the type of loan. I think the lowest I've ever heard at Chase that they were taking was 630. I don't quote me on that though, because I don't know what it is. But typically, things are graded based on credit score, cash flow, and it all kind of comes together to form the perfect like package. So you could have a amazing credit score of like 800 and have no cash flow and get declined, and have a lower credit score and amazing cash flow and get approved. It's just like anything. Credit is, it's I think it's a delicate balance of all of the pieces that a bank is looking for, or another financial institution. But I definitely would recommend, you know, talking to multiple lenders, asking them if they have a minimum credit score or if they have minimum credit requirements. Because, it's just like anything else. If you were buying a house, it would be the same situation where they want to see what your credit score looks like, but they also want to see how much money you make, right? It all kind of comes together.
And then one of the other things I wanted to just add to when it comes to the credit score is that we always emphasize the individual, like the individual Nicole Prevost being a healthy financial person, right? Because your credit score does come into play. I know it's not the only factor, but it comes into play a lot. So we always recommend that you have whatever measures in place to maintain or increase or just monitor your credit. And we have some business owners that we've connected with so that they can increase their credit score so that they do have more opportunities when they need the capital. So outside of just the business, like we also recommend personally that you maintain that financial strength. What are some challenges to creating an operational infrastructure? So like the operational infrastructure really is like, how do you actually operate your business currently? What processes do you have in place, and do you even have the capacity to grow and scale? If you're a solopreneur, are there things that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing? Are you touching too many things? Do you have automation in place? So I would really say some of the challenges is really just being able to identify where those points in the business that's going to free up your time and allow you to focus on growing and scaling versus the in and outs of like running the business day to day. Like you'll have to zoom out and have a bird's eye view so that you can actually think about where you want the business to go. And oftentimes it's hard to do that if you're the only one doing everything in the business. So we always kind of recommend like, what does that process look like for you to deliver your final product or services, and are there any efficiencies that you can leverage?
All right, our time's almost up, so we're gonna do just one more question. The process for registering a food business as a minority owned or woman owned business, I would say really any business, it's going to be the same. We can share the process with you all. There's a couple of different organizations that you're going to apply through. They do have different documentation that's required. It is a daunting but necessary and amazing thing you can do for your business. So please reach out to us if that's something you're interested in doing. We really appreciate you guys giving us some time today during your event. If you have any more questions, want to work on a mentorship with us, we'd be more than happy to, and just reach out to us directly.
And thank you everyone for your time.
Come on. Okay, good. Stacy, Nicole, I just want to say thank you so much. Can they still hear me? Or they can? Okay. Okay, can they hear me? Oh, well. Wow. Okay. Well, turn that down. I want to say I want to thank those two individuals. Send out a deep thank you, and make sure you guys that are trying to structure your business to raise resources and money, to expand your business or scale your business, reach out to them because they can at least. Hold on a second, let this train go by real quick. They can help you actually structure your business so your business qualifies to receive the loans you guys are trying to achieve. Once again, I know when I first started my business, I was working the business, but I didn't understand how to structure the business so the business could actually go out and raise money. So let's make sure that that if you need help raising money, that you actually reach out to them. And you have to be diligent. Can you turn my laptop up? You have to be diligent. You have to make sure that you show up and do the work. Otherwise, There's no magic trick to this. It's really you got to get yourself positioned. You have to position yourself to receive those opportunities. I want to say this real quick. I want to finish my point. Then I'm going to get off the stage because I'm excited to see what Court's going to bring to us today. So I was saying that if you have a job, you've been institutionalized. So let me say this real quick. So I asked a client a question. I said, imagine somebody had been institutionalized for 30 years in prison. I said, and then you send into a class to learn how to fit back into society, and you buy them a new suit. Does it remove the institutionalization? The removal of institutionalization is going to take time because it's a new reality. When you work in corporate America, the environment is curated for you. It's safe, it's fair, it's an alignment, it's motivational sometimes, inspirational sometimes. It has certainty built all through the organization. Checks are going to come, right? You got clarity on what you need to do every day, for the most part. You have clarity on what it would take to get fired, for the most part. You have clarity of what is expected of you by your peers, for the most part. That's called being institutionalized. Why is that institutionalized? When you come into the real world, that curating of that soft, safe space and things being communicated to you in a way that makes it digestible, and you respect me and I respect you, and you see my title and I need you to show up to me a certain kind of way, and the cultural etiquette of how we communicate and the communication language, all that shit goes out the window when you become an entrepreneur. None of that shit is a boundary. You are in a world where there's no more curation. Fuck your feelings. Fuck the fact that I'm about to tell you some stuff like with the loan. If they're in a situation with that loan, when the bank tells you no, you don't get in a space where you start saying, see, they don't support black people. You got to go to the space of, okay, what is it I'm not doing? There's no fairness in this game. You could be the hardest worker, the most highest intent with the best product. You just didn't deliver at the right time, in the right place, in the right way. Like the real world don't give a fuck about your feelings. I told my wife the other day, I said, you know what my role is in this household? She said, well, I said, one of my roles that I think that you're not articulating well for me is my job is to bring friction and tension, healthy friction and tension to our children. Because by me raising them in an environment where they deal with friction and tension, I'm preparing them for the real world they have to walk into. By you protecting them, no offense, but you're making them soft. You're making them soft as fuck. And when they take that first blow, they hit against the jaw, they're going to collapse. They're going to be like a computer tech guy thrown in the middle of an NFL game, destroyed. And so me with my daughter, we do a little boxing every once in a while, even though she don't really box. I taught her how to do the kid, not Kid Norton, but George Frazier, when he's a block like this, and I teach her how to like throw little punches. They're horrible, but it's not the point. I'm teaching her friction, fighting, battling, competition. We do work, we do insults. We play the dozens. The worst dozens you've ever seen. Like she's like, I'm gonna throw you in a garbage can. Go get the cat and let the cat poop on you. And I'm like, what? I'm gonna grab some grass, and when you eat your salad, it's gonna be the grass. Like we did these really horrible caps, right? But what am I doing? I'm teaching my daughter friction. How when you in the real world and somebody insults you, you don't collapse, right? You still hold your head up and you still stand strong, right? I hate to tell you guys, one of the biggest challenges, and I think Court's going to highlight this, and this is one of the things that I love about this brother. You're going to have to get stronger to get in this game. Let's go back to that computer guy thrown in the middle of a football game. If I put him in the middle of a football game and he gets smacked, he can frame that two ways. Oh, that was unfair. I'm suing you. Oh, my God, that's wrong. No, that's the social justice. Or he could say is, oh, shit, I need to go to the gym and go lift some weights. I need to learn this fucking game. I don't want to get hit like that again. That's the path of an entrepreneur. So once you decide you want to come into this side of the game, no offense, there's no room for bitch assness. That's a what's his name? Puffy terminology. His terminology. Understand me? And so going back to the original point of circling back to this, in this business stuff, your rationalization that works exceptionally well in your personal life has no value in business. Let me say this again. If you want to grow in business, you got to learn how to think through the principles of business, not your personal life. You might be highly successful on your block, highly successful amongst your friends, highly successful in your communities, highly successful at your school, highly successful at your job. Once you decide you want to go become an entrepreneur, a lot of those principles, a lot of that rationality that you used to get you where you gotten to, and all these things, you wear your badge of success, and I'm the smartest person in my class, and I did this, and I had this job position, doesn't translate. Doesn't translate. Business is totally irrational. If you can't think through principles, you're going to continue to fail because you're trying to make rational decisions. And then here's the sad part. Because you don't know that exists, you start blaming yourself and thinking there's something wrong with you, or either white people have a superpower. They're thinking through principles, and you're thinking through your rationalization, and your rationalization is contaminated with poverty, scarcity, slavery, servitude, limitations. But it works well. It really, really works well. You're successful when you're around your house. Your kids go to school. You do all these things great, but you suck in business. It's because you don't realize that the market is irrational and you're being rational. Now, with that being said, I'm going to let this cat take over it. I'm about to get in the background. Everybody go to Miro. Make sure you log into Miro. Miro. There's a link for Miro. Make sure you log in. I'm going to pull everybody to the first slide. We're about to have some fun online. And then when court permits, you upload the questions. Until court permits, no offense, fuck your questions. But until court permits, we're not going to do anything. So with that being said, court.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
You say, when they say put the questions in Miro? Oh yeah, I mean, but that's the Miro's. Yeah, it's not like a scroll. It's like it'd be there. I think. Oh, so yeah. So if you have questions for court, just make sure you post those questions in Miro. See you guys on Miro. Let's get down. Let's have fun. The people in the house, they can ask separate questions. But let's get down, y'all. All right.
Let's do it. What's up, everybody? I gotta say, this is gonna be. I'm excited about the class today. This is gonna be a fucking fire class. So there's a lot of good nuggets that's concentrated in this one class. So I want to get some momentum to get through most of it, and absolutely acknowledge and take care of your questions. But this class is gonna be a motherfucker. If this is a trigger warning. This class is going to be a motherfucker to digest, but it's going to be impactful. All right. Let's get started. First slide. The Garden of Gethsemane. Do y'all know what that is? Have you heard of that? How many Christians we got in the house? How many Christians? Lots, most, majority? If the majority of us are Christians in this room, then you might have heard this before. The Garden of Gethsemane. What that is that's the last place Jesus kicked it before he died. True story. It's the last place Jesus and his apostles kicked it before he died. Before he was tortured and killed on a stake. So I'm going to start off a little churchy, but you're going to get my point in terms of entrepreneurship in a minute. So for those of you who don't know, the context behind the story, this is what it is. It's Jesus' intuition is going off. Something's not right. He's feeling drained. He's feeling energy being pulled. He's feeling weird. His spidey senses is going off. There's something going on. And he feels the world, the weight of the world on his shoulders kind of pressing down on him. He's feeling pressure. Heavy energy. So he takes a few of his disciples and say, hey, shit's about to get real. So let's go to the Garden of Gethsemane. I need to meditate. I need to clear my head. I need to clear my mind. I need to meditate, pray to get some clarity, pray for strength, pray for whatever, but I need it. So I don't know something's weird about to happen. So what I need you guys to do is at the edge of this garden, I need you to stand guard for me while I'm in here praying. So there's two movies that happen at the same time while this is happening. One, Jesus is inside the garden on his knees praying to his God, praying super hard, like hard, to the point to where it said that he was bleeding. Blood was dripping, not sweat. He was sweating and then blood was dripping. That's how hard it said he was praying. And one of the things that he was praying for was he felt what was about to happen. And if you grew up in that area, you saw people tortured on the stake pretty much your whole life when they did bad stuff. You saw how it went down. You saw how they nailed your wrist and feet to the stake and tortured you and let you basically die alive on this stake in front of everybody. So he knew, it's not like it was a shock. He knew what was about to happen to him. So, regardless of how amazing and perfect he is, your brain's still your brain. So he's thinking, oh my God, this is about to happen to me. So he's praying now. And in part of his prayer, he even says, you know what, God, if you want to skip this part, just let me know. We could do it. I ain't tripping if you want to skip it. And God doesn't say nothing. He gets crickets, basically, right? He gets crickets. So imagine that. You're God's son. You was sent down here to save these people, the same people that's about to kill you. You ask for strength, and then you kind of, if you don't want this to happen, we can not do this. And you don't even get a no. You don't even get a, you know what, just keep it going. You've been doing a good job. This is it. You could do this. He got nothing from God. Zero. Not a word. Matter of fact, he sent a no-name, unknown to us angel to give him strength. Who knows who he was? Hey, you could do it. You could do it. It just said angel came to strengthen Jesus. That means his own son is agonizing, lightweight scared about what's happening, calling to him, and he sends, hey, go talk to him. Some reason Jesus gets up to go check on his apostles in the biggest night of his life. This is the biggest shit that's about to pop off in his life. His apostles, he picked his strongest, best apostles. This is the night. They was asleep. They fell asleep. He wakes them up. What are y'all doing? What's up? Man, this has been crazy. We ain't getting no sleep. We tired. But this is the moment, though. This is the moment. Wake up. Goes back, continues to meditate and pray. Comes back again, and they fell asleep again in the big moment. That happened 3 times. 3 times. And to put this in context, it's not like the person that they learned from, hung out with, sat at the lap of, saw do his work. Everything was some random. They got to be with with Jesus. That was their boss. That was their teacher, right? That was their teacher. The guy who gets worshiped now by 4+ billion people, they got to be with the dude every day and sleep next to him and listen to him and be by his side and get the game from him. He was the guy. And guess what? They fell asleep in the big moment. What the? You mean he didn't give them no special extra powers so that they was even better? So that they can perform in those times? They fell asleep. Matter of fact, they did more dumb shit after that. You would think, well, why? You got to be next to God's Son and learn from him. Because Mike Tyson puts it really, really eloquently. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. And a lot of times, just because you standing next to the man or the woman or that dude or that star, sometimes you get so lost and caught up in their power that you forget to develop your own. And when that power is absent, you get to see the real you, which you're fully capable of. There's no guru on earth that can give you all the game and stand next to you enough for you to be a super entrepreneur. If Jesus couldn't do it, it can't be done. If Jesus couldn't do it, it can't be done. So guess what that means for you? Oh, shit. I guess I got to do some more work. I guess I can't find the dude or the woman or the genius or the guru to sit up under for them to give me all their shit so that I can go off and be just as dope. I got to do the work. All of it. All of it. Fucking all of it. Every ounce of it. It ain't coming. The same way when Jesus prayed to God, the one who sent them on that mission, and said, yo, give me something. Like, we cannot do this. And he got crickets. Crickets. What you think about why it was crickets? You ever analyze that? Those of us who are Christians, you ever analyze why it wasn't no, or like some wise, be well, my son, you're doing good, keep it up, you will be with me soon. Anything. He got nothing. Have you ever went out on a date with somebody and thought everything went well and it was good and you liked the person, you wanted to maybe potentially be with the person, and you got no text back, nothing? You know how that feeling? You know what that feels like? What the fuck? The brain starts racing even more. It gets worse in your head. You start creating these stories and like, oh, well, was I this? Was I not enough? Maybe I'm deserted. Maybe I'm just a piece of shit. That's the feeling. So you had two movies going on at the same time. As an entrepreneur, none of this shit works without practice. We can fucking teach and teach and teach and teach until we're blue in the face, and you can come to class, you can learn, you can read the books, you can go over the material. But if you are not practicing, if you are not on the field working this shit, it does you no good. Nothing. It does no good. It has no benefit besides being able to speak on it. So if you decide you want to be a philosopher and not an entrepreneur, now it's a good space, because you can sit in rooms and just chop it up about all the intellectual shit that you know and you theorize. But being an actual doer, this shit has to be ran through. You have to try it. You have to go do it. You have to fail at it. You have to give it your all. You got to make mistakes. You got to try again. That's what this means. Like, fuck the talking. We was talking about that before class started. We are in beyond information overload. Everybody and their mama has an expert opinion about some shit. On Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever. Podcasts. I mean, you can watch an hour-long podcast of some random ass person with no experience or education speaking on some bullshit. How do you differentiate the two? For those Christians out there, how do you differentiate the two between the knowers and the doers? By their works. Really? Remember that? What did Jesus tell them? By their works you will recognize them. By their works, by what they're doing, not what the fuck they're saying. Fuck this. We are in an age now where I can go to a seminar, take notes from that seminar, hop on Instagram the next day, and start my seminar of what I just learned and be the expert. And if I sound eloquent, if I sound raw, I'm getting followers. Be careful. Don't get caught up in your hype, and we're going to continue down this rabbit hole when ego is an enemy. But we got to stop pretending that we know shit when we only know of it. You know it when you do it, when you exercise it. When's the last time you... I know Spanish. All right, well, if a Mexican person comes up and starts speaking to me, I better be able to engage, or else I just know a few words. I just know a few words. So that's how we start. You have to get in the darkness. None of this shit comes through the light. You got to get comfortable getting in the darkness in order for you to really see the fruits of what you're doing entrepreneurially. If you get punched in the face, meaning your bandwidth gets hijacked, you get busy, your emotions get high, multiple things happen at the same time. Maybe you get multiple failures that happen at the same time. Maybe you have a few in entrepreneurship in your business, home issues, you have children issues, personal issues, dating, relationship issues, and maybe it's all cataclysmic at the same time. Guess what? It's life. You got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. But again, you're not an employee, so you don't get the liberty to wow the fuck out and then be like, oops, so I need a mulligan. I was stressed out. Sorry. No, you might have destroyed some shit. You might have fucked some shit up. You don't get second chances. If you forget to do certain things, oops, I just forgot. You might have destroyed your company and got to start over. That's just the way the shit goes. We in a wild. I know I have no filter when it comes to the shit that comes out my mouth. So the bigger my company gets, the more I back away into my little office. I talk less and less because I got zero filter. Because why? All it takes is some shit. It is what it is. It is what it is. So the game does not care about your life like that. It does not give you can go to HR as an employee, you can go to HR and say, hey, I'm down, I'm depressed, take a week off. Here, we have mental health experts that's standing by that can talk to you whenever you need some help. Here's a 1-800 number. Even if you're suffering from addictions or whatever, here you got free addiction help, divorce lawyer, all kind of shit that corporate entities are designed to be able to take care of all those needs to get you back in that chair and from that computer working. You do not have that luxury here. So I use that example for you to understand that if Jesus couldn't get his apostles to get their shit together all the way, especially in a big moments, where you think we gonna fare? You got to do the work. You got to do all the work. You got to apply the class. You don't listen to the class. You apply it. So you be a doer. Next slide. Take that Christian hat off. Put my Buddhist hat on. So there's a term called samudaya. And what I love about Buddhism is that they're really good at teaching you how to detach from things. They're really good at teaching you how to detach from things because they say that samudaya is the root of all suffering. And what they say is most of us humans, we suffer, meaning we agonize, we suffer, we feel suffering emotions because of samudaya. And you know what that translates to? In English terms, being thirsty. Thirst. And what it says is, because we thirst for things so much that it creates too strong of a separation between what we don't have, what we want, and what we don't have. So that space, we're constantly thirsting. We're constantly desiring. We're constantly wanting. We're constantly looking to forward, here, to the left, beyond. We always thirsting, always wanting. And then social media doesn't make it no better because as you're scrolling, you're seeing what everybody's doing, what they have, what they look like, how they balling, and you're comparing the shit that you have versus the shit that you want and what other people have. And that causes suffering. Your suffering. All the while, you can stop and look around at what you have and have an overload of gratitude and joy and thankfulness for what you got. You cannot start a business in this space of constant suffering, thirst, nothing's good enough, always want more, always better, just constant. You cannot create an entity that has value when you are in constant state of suffering, when you can't look around and be grateful for what you got, for where you are. When you can't look back and say, damn, this is how far I got. Now you can create strategies on scaling, on improving, on getting better. But if you're in a constant state of suffering, looking around everywhere at this person who built a business and this person who's balling, this person is on a yacht, this person is this, that, that same energy will be injected into the value system of your company and what you build. If you want to end your internal suffering, stop thirsting after shit that's not yours. And that means everything external. That means everything outside of you. We cannot change circumstances, people, or things. You can only change yourself. So if you want to build a bigger business, you want to expand, you have to expand yourself. You got to be a bigger person. How do you be a bigger person? Exercise. Practice it. Real-time exercise practice. We have the ability to be whatever the fuck we want in terms of growth. We have the ability to grow. It's embedded in us. You can be a super skinny motherfucker or a super overweight person, and still achieve a desired body goal weight if you're willing to put in the work. You can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, but if you don't work it, there's nothing. Same with entrepreneurship. But it has to start internally, not out. You forget the outside world. Forget trying to control other people, other things. If you want more, you got to be more. Stop complaining about the shit that's not working for you. Next slide. So, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. That's hella simple. A lot of times, we are subconsciously playing a lottery game. We're hoping that we could just throw some entrepreneurial shit on the wall and it stick. I don't want to work no more. Here's the idea I have. That's what most of us is doing. But if you don't change, nothing will change outside of you. We will continue to live the same way you've been living. So we have this comfort zone. I don't know if I drew this before, maybe you guys can't. The people can't see it, but I've drew this. This is you. This is your comfort zone. This is everything you got. Your homes, your house, your relationships, your kids, the clothes you have, where you live, how much money you make, your friends. Your whole environment is inside this comfort zone. This is the imaginary wall of fucking fear. Your subconscious mind thinks you're going to die outside of this. Your ego thinks you're going to die if you step outside of this comfort zone. Try some new food? Hell no. Get some new friends? Hell, that's squares. Read this book that's outside of the book that, I don't do that. You don't do nothing outside of your comfort zone, yet you want everything outside of this comfort zone. You want millions. You want that baller or that perfect mate. You want the big house. What else? We can keep going. Everything that you desire is outside of this because you ain't got it now. So how the fuck do you expect to get it if you won't step outside of your own? This math, right? We got to have the courage to say, all right, I want what's out here, so I'm willing to get uncomfortable. I want what's out here, so I'm willing to get uncomfortable, hella scared and uncomfortable, and step out on this vulnerable space that I've never been before to get this. Some people will get to the edge because they want it, and they say, Nana, what do you think about this design? Because they out there on the edge, they want it, and he said, it sucks. That's just trash. And guess what they do? What do you do? What do they do? Retreat back to the center where it's comfortable and warm, and the AC is on, it's 72 degrees. Shit, I feel good. I got all my favorite things around me, my little foot warmers, my couch that I've sat in for so long, it just fits right exactly my body. The person who, maybe I know can't hang out in this outside my comfort zone, but they're perfect for me now, and they give me all the reassurance that I need. It feels good. My friends, it feels good. till you realize, damn it, I want these. I want to play a bigger game. And guess what we're doing mostly? Going to the edge, running back in the center. Going to the edge, year 2 passes. Going to the edge. So in 10 years, this is what you look like. Cold motherfucking game, right? Here's a solution. Certified solution given by the best neuroscience, behavioral scientists. Stop doing that shit. We gotta stop doing that shit. The interesting thing about us as black folks is raise your hand if you grew up in volatile ass, crazy, scary, abusive, destructive households. So you actually have great experience being out here. You just forgot that you actually are pretty damn good if you're still here and you survived. Raise your hand if you felt the pain of being ridiculed, felt like you're not good enough but had to show up anyway, had to do what you didn't want to do, had to work at places you didn't want to work. Raise your hand if you've experienced that. So guess what? You was out here too. You got to understand that this is all an illusion. This is an illusion. And if you are willing to, if you have been able to handle some tumultuous situations in your life, being outside your comfort zone really ain't shit. It's just a mind shift. It's a mind shift. Which leads us to ego as enemy. It's not, not like we're going to be going 100 miles an hour. So, pride is before the fall. Shabisha, would you like to read?
Yes, sir. Pride blunts the very instrument we need to own in order to be flexible, to build relationships. All of this is dulled by pride. Most dangerously, this tends to happen either early in life or in the process when we're flushed with beginner's conceit.
So, if you also are plagued with that independent bullshit mindset that you got to get it on your own, can't nobody do. I got to do it on my own, and you might be hella good. I've been there. I've done it. I'm saying from experience. I spent probably 33 years of my life thinking like that. Just to be 100. If you're plagued by that, then it's almost no way that you can build relationships, to build a strong entity, to build a kingdom, to build anything. Because that mindset is contagious. You give off an energy. You give off an energy. I was talking to my son maybe 2 years ago. He was about 23. My son was just like me. And he's super fucking smart. So he got the answers all the time. Anytime you get into any kind of solution for him, he already got it. I got it. And I'm like, damn, that's me. That's how I was. I can't even be mad at bruh. But then one day he came to me and said, I need help, but everyone around me is just kind of watching me die because they think I got it taken care of. I said, yeah, I know how that feels. You got to learn how to be vulnerable. And it's hard because I taught you this shit. But you see, I changed. So you young enough to start adopting new ways. Saying I need help is big. But also, shutting the fuck up when people try to help you is another big one. Even if you might know it. I've learned, I read a lot of books. Sometimes somebody will tell me some shit that I absolutely know. But just for the sake of not ruining it for the next time they give me game that I may not know, I'd be like, for real? I'll look into that. That's not for the moment. It's for the next time. And I damn near my tongue be bleeding. Tongue's bleeding because my ego wants to say, we know that. We got it. We know that. Look, we doing it already. I'm doing it already. I've been read that book. And I have to make that motherfucker bleed. Like, shut up. Listen. In order for us to get off we are not wired as humans to be solo. We're not. We're not hunters. We're herd animals, which means we're wired to thrive in an environment where there's multiples of us, where there's a team, a tribe, a village, a group of us. That's how we win. And if you don't have a village, and the ones that are listening outside of the Bay Area, if you know Oakland, how we're raised here in the Bay Area, it's all independence. We're the independent capital of the world. We out the trunk by ourselves, too short, E40, that's our mindset. And we ride on that shit. But look at where we are economically. As a culture. Soon as Atlanta start making better music, guess what happened? Because that Southern hospitality, networking, love, helping each other out, energy has always been there. As soon as the music quality caught up to that energy, that's why they have taken over ain't took their neck off of the game. We need people. And ego will tell you you don't. Ego will tell you you don't. Next slide. So the question is, as an entrepreneur, the way it's worded is everything still about you? Which means we've been telling you this shit for 6 years. I'm tired of telling y'all, stop making everything about you. It's a fucking broken record at this point. If you still can't figure out why ain't nobody buying your products, or you ain't getting the likes or the subscribe or the purchases or the platform, more likely than not, it's still about you. You. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Even if you're like, I'm so happy, I'm living my best life. What the fuck? Why are you telling people that? You're not there to tell people you're living your best life. You're there to add value to theirs. The truth. You want to get rich? Add value to somebody's life. You want to get wealthy? Add value to somebody's life. That's why the dope game is a dope game. Because even for that moment, you provide a momentary, illusionary high for a person, and their life in their brain gets better, even if for 30 minutes or an hour. That's a dope game. That's why it's it's a $1 trillion industry, and people willing to risk their life to be in it, because you'll never have a shortage of people who want that momentary, tiny bit of relief, that feel good. But it's bigger businesses out there. It's bigger businesses out there. All you have to do is get out your ego and decide that you want to provide a service, you want to help solve problems for your customers. If it's constantly still about you, if you feel like the need to continue to fucking post and brag about you all the time, then you're going to continue to lose. You're going to stay in your comfort zone. You're going to continue to lose. Entrepreneurs, all of course successful ones, nobody's perfect, right? People have their shit. People have their addictions before they get the money. They have their problems. Nobody's perfect. But if there's a successful entrepreneur, there has been a time in their cycle where they help people solve, massive amount of people solve problems. Their problems. You got to. It's imperative. How can I serve you? How can I serve you? Kaja, how can I serve you? I would love to serve you. How can I serve you? What can I do? In my power, with all my tools, to spread my tools out to serve you. What I got to do? Run with that energy. It's not weak energy. As alpha males, that's what you are. You're the biggest servant to your woman. I'm the biggest servant to my woman. Guess what? Why? Because I'm willing to kill for her, die for her, protect her, provide for her. So who's getting the benefit? Her. That's a servant. What you need? You need something? What you need? Okay, let me figure it out. Alpha male is not being a fucking boss. I'm a boss. You're literally willing to lay down for a person. Or lay somebody else down. That is the real. What you don't realize is it's all about service. It's not about you. We got this shit so twisted. Entertainers, if you're a rapper, if you're a musician, if you're an athlete, if you don't realize that your job is to be of service to your fans, I can already tell you don't got a lot of fans. Josh got problems. Josh said OnlyFans. Even if you do got OnlyFans, you're still providing a service. You're giving somebody a temporary high based on your body. It's still a service. You're still serving. Everything is about service. We got this shit so twisted, and I'm sick. Like, come on, blood. That's kindergarten shit right now, because we talked about it so many times. We've talked about this since I've been here. Like monthly. It ain't about you. It ain't about you. Be of service. Be of service. Like, come on, blood. Like, let's get this. And you will see that things will change in your business. The energy of your business will change completely. Every time you engage in a conversation with somebody, you dominate the conversation about the shit that's going on in your life. All the time. This is what I'm going through. This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me. This is going on. This is, you know what this, and guess what? And I got this, and I just bought this, and I just got that, and look at this. The whole motherfucking thing is done. And that's how you move. Remember we talked about last week, be an advancing human. Advancing means service. Advancing means I leave the situation better than when I came. I leave it better than when I came. I leave you better than when I came. Nobody gives a fuck about you like that. They only care about how much value you can add. It's real talk. Fucking real talk. There's no haters. There's no haters. When your momentum is so strong and of value and you're advancing everywhere you go, there is no haters. Haters, they ain't got that much, ain't got enough power to hold you back. None. I'm like, this is the realest shit I ever wrote. I swear. And it's the simplest shit. It's simple. It's not complex. It's not designed to be a philosophical complex equation. It's not. And I'm sorry that I can't make it sound fancier. I'm sorry. I can't. Because it's so basic, but it's so critical. Fuck that shit. Stop it. Because I want, like, there's little things that I know that I see that's holding some of you back, and I see it's so simple. It's fucking tiny shit that would change the trajectory of what you're doing. And I try to be smooth and be like, look, have you thought about this? And like, hey, you look in the mirror, you say you love yourself. Look in the mirror, say you love yourself. Do your journaling, do all the things, and y'all still caught with this. You're still caught. A lot of us are still caught with this. Because internally, we don't love ourselves enough. And we got low self-value, that our ego uses that to fill that void. So it's disastrous to us almost to not behave like that no more. It's killing us. Because now we're left with the truth of ourselves. So I need a quick high. I need a quick high. By me shitting on people or bragging about some shit or showing this or having a business that says, to be able to turn away a customer, well, you ain't my customer then. It gives you a level up, makes you feel a little powerful. He came in here, I brushed him off. Fuck you then. I don't need you. It feels good. It does feel good. Killing ourselves. We're killing our business. You killing off hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm gonna do it in money. You're killing off hundreds of thousands of dollars. Millions maybe. How's that feel? How's that sound? Especially if you broke right now. You're killing millions of dollars off your bank account. It's the real though. Next slide.
We must prepare for pride and kill it early, or it will kill what we aspire to. We must be on guard against that wild self-confidence and self-obsession. The first product of self-knowledge is humility.
Humility. So the Jesus Christ talk we talked about earlier, that's one of the things I love about the story of him. Getting into exactly the facts of who he was or whether he existed or not, I don't care about that. But the way it was primed and framed that the person who was a son of God was willing to wash people's feet, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You get down when you have the capacity to be a god and a pedicurist at the same time, that's what makes you special. That's what makes you special. A lot of us will laugh at the idea of being an apprentice or working for free or making the next person look good without us getting the credit. It will fucking make us throw up in our mouths. But that's how you get there. That's how you learn. That's how you fucking learn. I've worked for free for a year. I apprenticed at a place for a year before. My gas to Silicon Valley to learn the game. I soaked the game up for free because I knew I wasn't tripping off the money. If I soaked the game up, I'm going to make the money later. Humility, being humble. So we talked about being a servant and being humble. Damn, like what the fuck? I thought entrepreneurs was bosses. The crowd puts you in that position, not you. You let the crowd say that shit. The secret is you move in this space. Go ahead, questions. Yep.
Thank you. I really like what you said, Court, about service and about humility, and I believe that. I want very much to be aligned with that. I wonder how you are reconciling that with boundaries. I'm just starting to get traction in my own endeavors, and I'm being sidelined in having to serve outcomes outside of myself. So it's a tug of war between wanting to do exactly what you said, service and be humble and show up and make someone better and hope that that adds to what I'm doing on my own, and then also feeling like my boundaries are being breached because I should not be exerting energy, time, resources, attention in outcomes that are not of my doing or choosing. So how are you reconciling the serving part with the boundaries part?
Here's an example. I'm a giver. I'm generous. Period. I try to take the example of the sun. The sun shines on everybody's ass. The good, the bad, the evil, the murderers, the whoever, right? When you as an entrepreneur, you're becoming a light. You're becoming a light. So you never dim your light, ever. Ever. Meaning you never stop your rhythms of being advancing, being of service, being humble. You just shift who you focus it on. You change who you focus it on. You move it. You don't, if you're in a situation that's depleting you, that's draining you of your power, then it will be crazy for you to continue to stay there. You don't say, oh, well, I'm gonna stop being humble. I'm gonna stop being a giver. I'm gonna stop being advancing because this person don't deserve it. No, you move it. You move it. You move it. You keep moving it until there's symbiotic relationship between you and where you want to go and who's around you. So you're looking for symbiosis, period. You're turning everything on max. If you are an abuser, then we're going to have a short time together. Are we okay? We all right? You see what I'm saying? You got to move with that energy. You can't be afraid because guess what? Guess what, Kaja? Where you want to be is outside of your comfort zone. So you're saying, ooh, what if, like, I'm afraid, like, what if I go outside my comfort zone and I get hurt? Do it. Still do it. Because a lot of us are getting hurt inside our comfort zones. Like, so it's best to start observing and advancing and trying new things. Just stay in that rhythm. Stay in that rhythm. All right. There's a game that they play where ego gets involved. This is how a lot of us human beings work. They've done this test with a lot of people. So they played this game where they said, if I gave you $100, and there's two people playing, it's two people, and I gave you $100, and all you had to do was give the person on the other side of that table some money. If the money that you gave him or her, if they agree with it, you both get to keep it, walk away. But if they reject the money, then no one gets to keep it. How much would you give that person? First thought's 50, because why? You have a sense of equitability, right? That's equal. That's fair. But logically, if you gave that person $1, it's still good, right? Why? Because they didn't have shit before the game. So they got $1 more than what they have. So logically, anything over $0 is a good deal. But because of our sense of fairness and our ego, if it ain't 50, a lot of people, if it wasn't 50, rejected it and nobody got nothing. Which means our ego is so fucking off the hook that we'll sabotage some shit because we can't have it the way we want. What? Man, I'll blow this motherfucker up and nobody's gonna get nothing. Is that and it's us. We got to understand that when we remove the ego from our system, this is what we need to start asking ourselves in certain situations. Probably all the time at the beginning. Shabisha, you want to read it?
The question to ask when you feel pride then is this: what am I missing right now that a more humble person might see? What am I avoiding or running from with my bluster, franticness, and embellishments?
What am I missing right now that I'm more? That's a beautiful question. Keep it real with you. I got punched in the face 2 days ago. Punched in the face during a conversation. No, this was last week, Friday. Motherfucker, he triggered me. And it was a few things that led up to the trigger, but I got triggered. And I started off real 510 Media Hope Foundation. I did. I was like, okay. And it was like, and I knew I started off 510 Media Hope Foundation because I said, let me ask you a question. I knew I got it from this motherfucker. So I know I was on the 510 Media track, and I was like, cool. The first thing that came in my head when he triggered me was like, okay, let me ask you a question. So I'm like, damn it, Court, yes, good, we doing good. But you know what my ego did? When he answered it in my trap, my ego said, I got you, motherfucker, I'm gonna pounce on you now. And I revved up and revved up and revved up and revved up. And by the end of that paragraph, the end of that particular moment in time, I was like, I don't even want to fuck with you like that. I don't even want to fuck with. And I said, can you imagine signing a deal with you and having to call you and be on the phone with you all the time and deal with this bullshit? So then he said back to me, oh, no, calm down, Court. No, calm down. No, it's not like that. Calm down, Court, calm down. The minute he said that, I realized I lost my power. Because I got this dude I don't even know bringing my emotions down. That means I'm on low ground now and he's on high ground. So I sat there like, damn it, I was doing so good. Everybody got a plan till you get punched in the face. So he had the perfect concoction to punch me in the face. No, not literally punch you in the face. Oh, no. I'm talking about in conversation. In conversation. I'm talking in negotiation. So in negotiation, there's chess matches being played, right? Chess matches, bluffs, all the kind of shit. And mind you, the level that I've gotten to in negotiation would be nowhere near as good as I am now if it wasn't for this class and if it wasn't for Nana. I'm cold because I learned how to be cold from this brother. But I'm not as cold. I'm not there yet because that dude triggered me. I had the shit in my head like, oh, let me laugh this off. And I broke him down. I said, oh, time out. Let's stop right now. This is going to sound like him. I swear. Hold on. Let me stop you right here. And I asked him a question about scarcity, him living in scarcity. Do you think you might be in scarcity right now with the questions that you're asking me? And he was like, yes. So I could have kept him there and drove him all the way to his bank account. But instead, I pounced on scarcity and went down this devaluing rabbit hole, and it ended up like that. So it was a trigger. My point to say that is, after that, I said, damn it. I grabbed my sales guy and I said, hey, let's sit down and talk. This is what happened to me. I want to go over it with you to just show you my fuck ups and potential situations where that may happen to you and you can zig where I zagged. So we talked about it for about 45 minutes. But that's really what we're digging into. What would a more humble person do? What would a more seasoned person do? What would a person who was really a master at his craft do and say in those moments? Oh, okay. That's where I fucked. Okay, I would have said, even if I got triggered, I'd be like, hey, hold on one second. Let me, I got somebody calling me, and put him on mute and be like, this motherfucker, I'll beat your motherfucker. What the fuck you think you talking? All right, I'm back. So, but give myself time to think and go after it in a way that makes me a master on the chessboard. But humility allows you to play that game. So I'm not saying that once you get it, you get it. No, you got to be in the field. You got to be practicing it. I need to hear these stories from you. Hey, I tried X and this is how far I got. I learned this from you. I learned this from Nana. I tried it and this is how far I got. Dope. Try it again. You'll get to the end soon. You keep doing this. You're going to get to the end. You're going to beat the game. Instead of just sitting there listening and being like, oh shit, yeah, wow, that's good info. That's dope. That's it. It does nothing for you. Even getting this far and getting triggered is farther than I've gotten in years. Like I've gotten the furthest getting triggered like that than I've ever gotten. So it's progress, good progress. Next slide.
As the philosopher and writer Paul Valéry explained in 1938, a poet's function is not to experience the poetic state. That is a private affair. His function is to create it in others.
So, if you want to do shit for you, don't put it in the market. If you want to build and create something because you like it, just do it for you. Stop being an entrepreneur. There's a market out there that you're going after because you want to make a living out of something. Stop attempting to put it out in the masses because you're just playing the lottery at this point, if it's still all about you. You're creating for others, meaning you're making the world a little bit better with your product. You're creating for others. You're of service to others. Next slide.
It is 10,000 hours or 20,000. Is it 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours to mastery? The answer is that it doesn't matter. There is no end zone. To think of a number is to live in a conditional future. Wow. While that's not a terribly sexy idea, it should be an encouraging one because it means it's all within reach for all of us, provided we have the constitution and humbleness to be patient and the fortitude to put in the work.
So this ain't the lottery. It's a long game. So there's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Tipping Point, right? He's the one who introduced a 10,000 hour philosophy, meaning if you want to be master at anything, it takes approximately 10,000 hours to get there. So he had the world fucking counting hours for a long time, counting hours. And then when they got to the 10,000th hour, they're like, how come I ain't there yet? How come I ain't millionaire yet? How come I ain't rich yet? How come I ain't the master yet? Because it fucking doesn't matter. It's infinite. You keep going till you get there. You keep going till you get there. The question is, are you willing to continue going until you get there? Are you willing to do it? This ain't no quick lick. It's not a quick lick. Are you willing to put in the work? Because there's infinite amount of shit you got to learn. And it may hit at hour 4,000. It may hit at hour 9,000. It may hit at hour 20,000. It may hit at hour 70,000. But if you're playing a long game and this is part of your purpose, it don't matter. Kentucky Fried Chicken, you know that story? You guys know Kentucky Fried Chicken story? Colonel Sanders started his shit at 65. He was a failed entrepreneur, failed so many things continuously, back and forth, failed businesses, back and forth, until he was 65. That's the long game. It's a long game. He settled in, and a lot of times, big ideas, black swans, what we call them, they happen on accident. They're a pivot from something else. Colonel Sanders wasn't Colonel Sanders. He had a gas station. And somebody in his family would bring chicken to the gas station sometimes. And the people start liking the chicken. And so he started selling gas station chicken. And turn that into Kentucky Fried Chicken. Gas station chicken. Understand that. But if you're observant and you humble, a lot of times, I'm going to keep it real. Some of you guys, Kentucky Fried Chickens have passed you up because you so focused on making your money by doing it just like this. And if you can't do it this way, you don't want it. And your Kentucky Fried Chickens have came and gone. Just feel that for a second. You're not humble enough, too much ego. You don't want to get outside your comfort zone. When somebody gave you that idea outside your comfort zone, your circle of where you're focusing on and what you want and what you built and what you did with so much passion and what you focusing on. And somebody said, well, why don't you take that one small thing and expand it, do it here? No, what you talking about? This is my business. That was your Kentucky Fried Chicken. They would have called you Colonel, but now you just your regular ass name. True, it's real. It's the truth. It's the truth. Doesn't mean you can't get another window. You can't create another window for yourself, but it's real tough. But your next go round, you have to be moving in that space. Speaking from experience, this is like I said, this is my second company that's been this big. My first company, I was damn near the person that this guy wrote this book about. Chapter 1, Courtney did this. Chapter 2, Courtney did this too. Chapter 3, Courtney is a motherfucking know-it-all. He knows everything, caught up in his own ego. He out there flossing at Air Lounge with big-ass chains and shit with his pajamas trying to show everybody that he boss. Chapter 4, Court's taking losses, but his ego is so high that he refuses to acknowledge the losses that he's taking because he thinks miraculously the shit's going to turn around even though the plane engines are blown and it's going down. He thinks somehow he's going to come back up before he hits the ground, so he's still living that rich-ass lifestyle with $0 coming in. Chapter 5. Like, that was my story. 100%. Couldn't tell me shit. So the humble Courtney that's now, that comes from crashing that motherfucking airplane. Losing everything. And we'll go more into that next slide. Sure.
We'll go back to we shared something in a previous slide about networking and working with.
Okay, sure.
I might have been back too far, but we'll just start. So this was back when you were talking about the Garden of Gethsemane. So the question is, how would an entrepreneur approach information they just learned? So you were talking about a seminar, they get online, they take notes, they get online, and then now they're an expert. So the question is, how would an entrepreneur approach information they just learned? If the goal is to put it into practice, how do you define works in the seminar scenario?
Do not talk about it. Apply it. Absorb it. Integrate it into your business and your life. Integrate it. Get the results. So look at everything like a math equation in that regard.
Yeah.
So if you're 5, you approach some information that's 1. Plus yourself with it and see what the outcome. If 5 + 1 = 6, you're like, okay, cool. It helped me. If 5 + 1 = 3, it fucked me up. It was a waste of my time. If 5 + 1 = 45, you're like, wow, this really added tremendous value. Don't go out teaching it. Don't go off talking about it to nobody. You're in the darkness right now. We're all in darkness in this space. We call it the darkness because we're all trying to grow and scale. Everything in the wild, in the universe, in the world, on this planet, how does it grow? A seed goes in the dirt. What is it, light or dark? It's dark. A butterfly in the cocoon, it's dark. Everything is darkness. So as entrepreneurs, you're in the darkness and you got to learn to live and enjoy the darkness. So stop talking about it. Don't say shit to nobody. What you working on? No, I just read this book yesterday. No. Mm-hmm. You want people to say, what are you doing? Something's different about you. Mm-hmm. What you doing? You seem happier. You seem brighter. Your money's different. Your living situations change. Like your whole personality's changed. What are you doing? If nobody's asking you what you're doing, then do not don't go out telling nobody.
Someone said one of my greatest challenges currently is learning the proper way to network and build with others. So this was around pride, blunting the instrument we need in order to succeed. So they're saying one of their greatest challenges is really learning the proper way to network and build with others.
Well, the first thing, we talked a little bit about it last week, is are you advancing or are you not? Advancing means you always leave the situation or a person better than when they came. Be advancing. You don't have to have a formula about networking. Just if you're advancing everywhere you go, everybody you meet, you're a machine that advances, even if it's just giving a hug or love or admiration or keeping it 100 with a person or wanting to help them, or anything you can do that's advancing, your network's gonna grow. Now you don't have to put any exact science to it. There's books out there, How to Win Friends and Influence People, or those kind of books. They're out there. I've read them. But really it boils down to being an advancing human. If you can be an advancing human, then your network's going to build. You're going to attract people because guess what? Now you become magnetic. I want to be around this person. Second thing is a law of reciprocation. Us humans, we have a collective consciousness that we're connected. The law of reciprocation plays a huge factor within how we communicate and work with each other. That means if you're constantly giving, here you go, you can have that. Then internally, we always want to pay back. That's how you build a strong network. Internally, we always want to pay back. Here's one quick example. The religion. I don't know if you guys remember in the 70s, Hare Krishna religion. Hare Krishna religion, they known for being at the airports, handing out flowers and shit like that. So they were only a couple hundred people, less than 100 people. The leader came up with the idea of, let's go to these airports and let's pass out, just hand flyers out to people. Hand flowers. So they stand at the airports where it's busy population and hand people flowers. Here you go. People, oh, thank you. Here you go. Now, the law of reciprocation states, well, I got to do something nice for you. You just gave me a flower. You warmed my heart. What can I do for you? Here, just take this flyer. Their religion grew into the millions with that part of that strategy. Because law of reciprocation is strong. That's why free samples ain't free. When you go to Costco, you're like, oh, free sample. They're engaging the law of reciprocation with you. Because eventually you're gonna buy a box of some shit. It's not because they're being nice to you. It's because they know that percentages show that the law of reciprocation kicks in and they're gonna make all that back and then some. So you become an advancing person where you're always giving. You ain't got to worry about your network. You're going to have it. You're going to have it.
And then the last slide was talking about the long game. So taking your businesses as the example, are you saying that basketball was like the arena, that's the long game, but you weren't tied to what it looked like? So it could, like, the first company you did was around basketball, but it didn't look like what you have today. So what's the long game and what's you not being tied to what it looks like?
I started Courtsmith around a shoe. I wanted to build the best basketball shoe the world has ever seen. Best basketball shoe ever. that merged fashion and function together so beautifully that you could ball out on it. It recognized your moves. It knew it was position based. It was all this fancy shit that with the new technology that was out was possible. And because we were part of the culture and we knew shoes, we knew what people liked, we can design something that was fire too, to where people will want to wear it off the court. I spent a year working for free, apprenticing at a place to learn the game. So I'm putting in the work for this particular business. I went and got shoe designs, patents. I got a patent made, all the shit for a shoe. That was Court Smith. I get in the game. I walk into these investors' boardrooms and say, this is what I got. This is revolutionary. It's going to change the game. Guess what they tell me? I don't give a fuck. No. Next investor, 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 no. So for a whole year, I'm getting that no. I can make a beat to it. No, motherfucker, no. No, motherfucker. All year. All year. All year. I'm keeping it 100. So guess what? Couple of people in the investment, the investors that I went to, they was like, I don't even you got Nike and Adidas here. Like, do you even have credibility building a brand? You don't even know how to build a brand. I'm like, stop. My first company, I built a brand. I was in all the big box stores, Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, Sports Marts. I named them all the big box stores that a youngster from East Oakland, we got in those stores with our first brand. You know what they told me? You ain't doing it now. Oh, okay. So at the end of that year, September, guess what I did? I had $300 in my pocket and I pressed up some T-shirts. Fuck the shoe for now. Fuck the shoe. I could have sat there. I've spent all this money on the shoe. That's the shoe. That's my passion. That's my vision. I'm sticking to the shoe. God gave me this vision to build this shoe company. And you're trying to take the shoe company away and stay firm to the shoe. I pressed up basketball-related T-shirt. $300. Flipped that shit. $600. Flipped it again. $12. Flipped it again. Here's a second design. Here's a third design. T-shirts. People are like, okay, fourth design. Now we have pop-ups. My whole big box model, I threw out the window. We gonna start out the trunk and pop-ups. Pop-ups, T-shirt. One coach tells me, hey, these shirts designs are dope. Do you do team uniforms? I got a team. Yes. Never did a motherfucking team uniform before in my life. Guess what? Millions of dollars a year in sales later, we could build a shoe. Or I can walk into rooms now and say, can you build a brand? Absolutely. Look. That's not being tied to your vision, the exact vision. I still get to be in a space where I serve kids, athletes. I serve athletes, and I put them in a position where they're better. I help athletes build their own brands. I build brands for basketball teams and pro players and NBA players and college players and our own brand. I still get a lot of the juice and the excitement of being in that space. Now, if I was my old self, I would still be right now fighting for this fucking shoe. Because the shoe is dope. And I got a patent on it and everything. That's how we do that, though. But now I can give you my profit and loss. I can give you everything for the past 8 years. We're an 8-year-old company with 12 employees now. Off of a fucking pivot. And it's going to continue to do that. And now I'm in a position to even launch a shoe even better because we have 6 NBA players that are signed to Court Smith. So if I did, and 10,000 kids that we make team uniforms for. So if I did drop a shoe now, I'm in a much better position to do it. So fuck your vision, like what you're holding on to. Are you still fulfilling your purpose? My purpose was I want to be next to these kids and help them get better and inspire them and help them improve in all aspects of their life, inside and outside the sport of basketball. I'm still like, that was my purpose. The shoe shit, and Lord knows I tried at the beginning, but I didn't let it stop. So I know I'm hella extra today, but I have to be. Let's keep going.
Can you handle success, or will it be the worst thing that ever happened to you?
I'm gonna say some real shit to you. A lot of us, some of us who think you're hella wholesome and honest and committed and good person and good natured, and you don't have addictions and you don't have dark sides and shadows, and you don't you would never cheat, never do drugs. A lot of times you just don't have the access to. A lot of times you just don't have the access to. It's like we want to judge a lot of people who are rich or celebrities or money and all those things. Stop judging, because you don't know what the fuck you would do if you was in those positions. If you had an unlimited access to all the money in the world that you wanted, all those tiny little addictions that you have that you come around to every once in a while because you got some money, but because you broke, you can't access it all the time. Imagine now when you got 100% access to it. Now you're a dope fiend or a crackhead or this, all the shit you was judging. I had a partner like that. I would never cheat. Man, we've been friends for a long time. You ain't got a lot of options. So you better be grateful you got what you got, because ain't nobody checking for you. So imagine if females was lining up, all the ones that you love, like, are attracted to, and they knocking on your door every day. Tell me that then. So stop judging all the times you hear on the news or this celebrity got caught cheating. You don't even know what that life is like. Now imagine you're a multimillionaire. You could do anything you want at any time you want. You can only afford, you smoke weed, but you can only afford a little half an ounce a month for your little budget. Imagine you can buy pounds and pounds and pounds. Now how productive would you be? So a lot of times we're only at the mercy of our limitations when it comes to our addictions. So it's damn near good that some of us ain't got money, because you ain't worked on yourself. You ain't built up your self-disciplines. You ain't learned how to manage your dark sides and shadows yet. You got to learn how to manage all of that. Just keeping it real. You could talk, like, it's easy to sit back and talk about Kobe Bryant and Jada Pinkett and fucking, her little situationism or whatever the fuck she was in and all that. But when you literally, and I've seen it sometimes because I've been in and out of that world. So I know, like, I've been in situations where people feel in a certain situation, like a concert setting or a party setting, that's their time to let themselves go and be free. I watched the wholesome girls be free and then be at church on Sunday. So ask yourself the question, can I handle success, or will it be the worst thing that ever happened to me? Because money and success is a magnifier. If you have low self-esteem now and you on some I'm a boss shit and me now, imagine you with $1 million. That fucking ego, you sitting at a restaurant and your order don't come out right? Or how you treat people in the street? Can you be like Jesus and wash somebody's feet? $2 million in your bank account and it's yours. Could you wash somebody's feet? Can you? If that's, you got to practice that now. You got to practice it now. A lot of people get on me about the little shit that I do. I don't fucking eat meat. I don't do this. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do that. It's not because some of that shit is bad. No, it's because I know me and I know who I was then. So I'm practicing everyday little shit, denying myself, self-discipline. I'm practicing to keep me humble so that I can say no to myself more easily, because I got shadows just like y'all do. Dark sides just like y'all do. So I'm learning how to continue to manage my dark side. I'm from the hood. I've seen all kind of shit. So my context and my capacity is crazy. So I have to play little discipline games with myself to where I'm constantly saying no to myself, checking myself. Nope, we're not doing that. Oh, nope, we're not doing it. Nope. And I'm also constantly, slowly, sometimes feeding myself those things. Feeding myself. I'm not no motherfucking saint, that's for sure. So I create safe environments for me to be ratchet. Whatever the fuck the word is. Wild out. But it has to be in the context of my disciplines. If not, what is that going to look like $10 million from now for me? 20 million. If not, if $20 million from now, can me and Nana even have a decent conversation without me arguing, saying I know what the fuck I'm talking about? I'm doing big things. I made 20 million. Will we be able to have a cool conversation? Will we be able to have the same conversation, the same dialogue? The only way that I can know is if I'm practicing the shit now. In the field. That's why I was down on myself. I was mad at myself for getting triggered and smashing on dude. I can give a fuck about whatever he got going. That he caught me on low ground. And that I look at, what if he was a major player? What if he was a $50 million player, billionaire that was going to invest? What if he was that? And he said the same trigger words. So ask yourself the question, and some you may not know, because I remember there's times where there were certain addictions that I had that they only was manageable because I didn't have no money. If you got gambling addictions and shit like that, but you don't go to Vegas that often because you ain't got it like that. And when you do go, you got a little $200-300 budget and that's it. Imagine you got millions now, and that's your addiction. Now it's an addiction. Just keeping this shit all the way 100 with you. Next slide. Call me when you lose everything. Little story time. So it's 2006. I'm at the height of my first bag. I'm a millionaire at the time, but I'm 31. I'm a 31-year-old East Oakland kid, and I just stumbled upon that shit, right? Millionaire at the time. So I'm a complete case study for ego as an enemy at the time. You can't tell me shit. 64th and Mac. I'm in the Oakland Hills at the time. Just bought a $1 million house, Oakland Hills. I just came off that stunt where I came from the BMW dealership, bought 2 of them at the same time. Like, I'm on high. So I'm having a white party at my house. That should tell you something. Rain catered it. White party at my house. All my clothes, everybody in white. DJ, I think it was DJ, maybe DJ Hector. It's popping. So we had this poster at the front door, me and my ex-wife at the time. Everybody can sign in so we can remember the moment. So party was good. When we did our thing, I had anything you can ask for. Anything. Bowls of weed in the different parts of the room. You could just grab you can grab a handful and smoke as much as you want, drink as much as you want, eat as much as you want, music, dance, whatever. So after the next day, we like reveling in the moment, and I grab the sign-in thing that everybody signed. I'm reading all the things. Man, great party. Man, it's happy for you. Court, y'all doing big things. And we get down to one, and it said, "Call me when you lose everything." And he signed his name. So I'm like, fake friends, we messed up inviting this motherfucker fake ass friends. I'm gonna beat his ass when I see him. Disrespectful, you just hate her, blah, 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 won't they won't. Guess what happened? Age 33, 34, I lost everything. Maybe he saw it. Maybe he saw it. Because behavior is predictable. You know a lot of times when somebody is heading down a path that's destructive. And at the time, you couldn't tell me shit. So ego was my enemy at the time. Fuck that. If you guys don't get out of this shit, some of you guys are stuck in the ego and you ain't built it yet. It's one thing to crash, but it's one thing to be stuck in the ego when you ain't built nothing big yet. What the fuck is that? You won't even let yourself out the starting line because of your ego. You want to know where my humility comes from now? He straight clowned me. And then it wrote it in ink. You can't erase the shit. You fucked up my mural. Call me when you lose everything. We was cool. He was a good friend of mine. Good people. I X'd him out my phone. Never talked to him again. I haven't talked to him to this day. Wife worked at East Bay Mud. So understand that this game is not just about building the business. This game is also about building you and fortifying you to prepare you to handle the business and the money and the success. If you fumble those things, then the bag's gone. The bag is gone. If you stop listening to people, you're fucked. Any small, slight thing, advancements you made, and now I did this, now what? You're fucked. Bye. I see you. Call me when everything falls apart. Stay humble. I don't care if you landed $1 million deal, $10 million deal. Stay humble, low to the ground. Stay low. All right, replicate it then. Replicate it 5 times in a row. Stay low. Find a way to stay humble. Next slide.
Success is intoxicating, yet to sustain it requires sobriety. We can't keep learning if we think we already know everything. We cannot buy into myths we make ourselves or the noise and chatter of the outside world. We must understand that we are a small part of an interconnected universe. On top of all this, we have to build an organization and a system around what we do, one that is about the work and not about us.
I said beautifully. Success can be intoxicating. Stay sober. My friends, stay sober. Don't drink that much. Take a sip sometimes. You know, I've been on the other side. This company, I'm guilty of being on the other side and not celebrating any wins. So I've learned that to try to celebrate some wins with my team. We just had a win last month, biggest month we ever had. So, and it was exhausting, hella busy. So I'm like, my brain is like, no, fuck that. I ain't celebrating shit. We got to keep going. It's like, no, they worked hard. Let them like at least acknowledge it so they know where their work went to. But then once we are happy, smiley, then get back to work. It's over now. It's over. April's here. That month is gone. April's here. Let's go. Do not be intoxicated. Do not get intoxicated by the success. It means nothing. Think about the people you know personally with hella followers, and they're miserable and broke and unhappy. Feels good, but it don't amount or equate to nothing. If you can't convert that into financial gain, happiness, growth, fulfillment, finding your purpose, means nothing. Next slide. Genghis Khan. I fucks with Genghis Khan. A lot of people, they spend so much energy going bad on him about him pillaging and doing all this shit. But he was a master strategist. He took over half the world. And he started from a village of a few people. And he ended up conquering from Russia to China and everything in between, starting from a village of just his family in Mongolia. You want to talk about how to scale? That's scaling. How do you adapt? How do you adapt and grow and scale? Adapt, grow, and scale, and put that on repeat continuously, and end up taking over half the world when you come from a small village of a few people, not ever leaving your little one hut radius that you live in. I studied the fuck out of him for many years because I just loved the story of how what he built, how he scaled. This is two of the things I learned, and there's an ego as the enemy talks about it, but this is what I learned. I extracted from it. Number one, humility. Genghis Khan was super humble the whole time. Not in the hut in the village, but in Russia. By the time he got to Russia, he still kept that same energy. So when he was growing his empire, guess what happened? He started having to fight his own village. He started having to fight his own country, almost to the point to where he had to fight Mongolia to win Mongolia. So he started his village, and he kept growing in terms of his expansion within his village and in Inner Mongolia. So after a while, guess what his reputation became? Every time they defeated an enemy, the traditional method was the king goes and grabs all the spoils of wherever he defeated, and then the soldiers took the rest. Genghis Khan didn't take spoils. He let his soldiers split up everything. So that reputation start preceding him. And you know what started happening? They go to in formation a battle against another group, and a lot of the other group would defect based on his reputation and go to the other side immediately before the fight happened. Yo, we heard this about you. You that generous? You don't even take the spoils? You let us split it? Can we ride with you? Come on. That's how he defeated a few of his enemies. They didn't even fight. Because when they heard they was fighting against Genghis Khan, it was like, fuck you. You cruel. We're going to go over here. Second thing. He made the people around him look good. Didn't we talk about that earlier? Huge one. He made the people around him look good. He never really looked to be in the front or to shine. He always acknowledged the fact that it's the people around him that made him great. He stuck to the structure of his rules and abided by them. And he was a giver. So, and the last thing is he was a major adapter and learner to others' culture. So he was the first really cultural appropriator. He knew he was from that small village. So anytime he entered into a new area, he absorbed the culture, learned the culture. And not only did he allow the culture to maintain within the area that he overtook, but he also absorbed the nuggets of the juices and the nuggets of the culture that he overtook, and he applied it to his kingdom. So that way, you're fluid. You don't have no set rules and laws. You're able to adapt, grow, and learn as you grow and as you build. That's part of the scaling. Next slide. Always stay a student. You constantly always just understand you're never the master. This ain't the corporate world no more. I got a master class. I'm the expert. I'm a teacher. I'm a this. I'm a that. Never. You're not. No. Never adopt that. That doesn't exist in the wild. Is a lion in the wild ever a master? No. Can an eagle ever just be the master and start chilling? No. You don't eat, you die. That's where we are. So if you don't have the ability to continue to learn, trends change every fucking 2 months now. Every 2 months. There's a new dance every week. There's a new clothing style every 2 weeks. There's new music dropped. There's 3 million new books on the market. I'm not playing. I think that's a statistic, I think. It's like 3 million or 100,000 or something like that new books every day. Something's changed. So if you're not constantly upgrading your own software, you're in the past. If you're thinking you can hang on to your degree and use your degree to become successful, you're tripping. You tripping. That degree don't mean shit. It don't mean shit. It means there may be a potential Rolodex of people you can call that have good jobs somewhere that can either help you get it in if you're an entrepreneur or help you get a job. Because y'all was playing beer pong in college. Frat partying. That's it. You get a general knowledge of where you're going, but you got to be in the field. So College, all that shit don't mean nothing. Not saying that you don't tell your kids not to go to college, but you cannot give them the false sense that getting a degree is going to equate to success, because it's not. And for sure not in entrepreneurship. Next slide. Go, no, I thought you had a question. No. So let's talk about competition. In business, as an entrepreneur, is competition good? Is competition good? I got one yes. I got a yes. What'd you say? You don't think it matters. So, Marquita, what you think? Think it's friction. So, yeah, I got a resounding yes. I got another big head nod yes. You said you don't think it matters. Let's talk about it. First question is, who are you competing with? Who are you competing against? There is a statement that goes around that says, my only competition is me, right? I used to ride with that. I loved it. I used to ride with it. I loved it. It felt good. But then I start challenging it. I don't want to resist myself. I want to work with myself. I want to work with myself. I want to be in congruence with myself. I want to be like an engine on all cylinders going, and nothing in conflict and resistance, to where I see myself as competition. We in the same gang, we on the same team. Now, I'm going to talk about both sides of competition. Competition, the purveying energy of competition, is what makes us evolve as humans. Humans would not be the species we are without competition. Desire, going after it, getting better, kill or be killed, killing, like surviving, getting past, trying to get, I want more, getting that. There's an energy in the universe that has a competitive tint to it, meaning as how we evolve as species, how we invent things, how we improve, all is an energy of competition. When a 1 minute mile in the 1960s, the 4 minute mile mark was hit, guess what? Later they said it was impossible, meaning thousands of years of being a human that said the human body is not built to run a mile in 4 minutes. 1960s, a guy broke it. Later that year, 7 more people did it. What the fuck? How does that work? The energy of competition is strong. It is. It's a factor. But then it gets toxic and it gets dangerous for you. If you're so hyper competitive that you're competing against everything with everybody around you, don't nobody want to be around you. Everything is a competition. Every fucking conversation. What are you doing? What are you doing? I got to do better. You trying to one up everybody around you? You're in a danger zone. Because what rhythm works for you, and what successes you have, and what you build in your timeline and in your rhythm may be different from this person. But instead, you bypass your rhythm because you want to keep up with this person and catch this person. And now you're making mistakes. And now you just overlook some shit. Next thing you know, that person wasn't thinking about you. He was just building their shit, building and working and building and working and improving and checking and balancing. They didn't have that frantic scarcity of competition. Well, he's gonna do better than me. Are they gonna do better than me? And what's gonna happen? Next, you know, you slip and fall because you're too busy looking at them. So yes, the energy of competition it's good, but it has limited. Once you go beyond a certain purveying level, then it can be dangerous for you. So some of you guys need to turn your competition down. Some of you guys are in situations right now in your business, in life, and all that where you know you fucked, or you in a danger zone, or you out of bounds because you're trying to compete with somebody else. It's the truth. It's certain situations where you got to let that go. That's their rhythm. I'm not ready yet. If I don't have the context on how to do something, I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to keep up with somebody or compete. Fuck that. My competition level is turned down low. Now, old me. Nobody outworks me. These are some slogans I used to have. The old me. Nobody outworks me. Some Will Smith shit. If we are on a treadmill together, this is my old mentality. If we're on a treadmill together and we're having a competition, I will win or I'm gonna die on that motherfucking treadmill. That's the old me. So you think I need to turn that down a little bit? Absolutely. Absolutely. Refine it? Absolutely. So now, if your competition is turned up too high, can you truly be happy for somebody doing better than you? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? What about me? Like, I need to get my shit together, man. Ooh, I got to get my shit together. Man, I got to. Yo, like, chill. You don't know what came before you, the work that's been put in before you, the context, none of it. A lot of times you always trying to, any success you see, you're personalizing it to what you got to do now. Oh shit, man, you out here making us look bad. What? I'm out here fulfilling my purpose and putting in all the work. I don't even think about what none of y'all motherfuckers are doing. None of you. So then if person A or person B, even in my same field, says, man, I just had some big success, I genuinely can feel happy for that person. Man, that's dope. Good job. Got you. Good. You did it. So some people wanted me to say competition is bad. Some people want me to say competition is good. It's both. They both can exist in a space. It can be valuable to you and also can be dangerous to you. Marquita has a question.
Soon as you had said, trying to remember what you said, but it sparked the thought in me of like, does it take me back to trying to formulate my question. Come back to me.
Okay. Come back. Any other questions on that? We'll hit this. Go ahead, Shabi.
What do you see, what would you say is the difference between competition and comparison?
Comparison can sometimes be impotent competition. It's you're comparing and then you feel bad. You compare, oh man, they doing better than me. Oh, I'm worthless. Oh, he got he did that. Oh, like you're comparing. Also, comparing can be on the other side of that. Well, where you feel like you're better than others. Competition, it has action attached to it. Competition has action attached to it. Going after it. You're always trying to beat somebody. You're trying to fight, trying to clamor for somebody. Who's the youngest child of a big family? I was number 8. I was number 8. That attention game don't seep down to the 8th kid. So you get you always scrapping for attention. You fighting, you competing. So the hyper competitiveness for me came from being the youngest of 8. Fight, compete. So you're taking action with competition. Comparison is an observation.
When you were talking about when someone else wins, you're genuinely happy for them. And I was putting myself in that space. But then I think my second reaction is, now I'm curious, like, how did you do it? And then I was wondering, does that then bring it back to about me? Like, is that the opposite of that, trying to make it about me?
Couple of things. Man, I was the master of the fake grins. Good job. I'm happy for you. Good job. That's dope. And then I immediately personalize it. So you take someone's success, personalization as a mental disorder that and then I have low self-value, which means as soon as it hits me, it immediately says I'm not good enough. Damn it. Well, fuck, I'm a failure then. So your ego comes to your rescue. Your faithful, good old ego will come to your rescue and introduce your competitive nature. Man, come on, you got it then. Fuck it, then get them. Go get them. Let's do it. You could do this shit. Go get them. None of that, all of that was tied to me being the youngest and not getting attention and having to fight for it. All that shit, right? So what I had to learn was to separate stimulus and response and create a wedge to stimulus and response at the beginning. And I would force myself to think. I would say, God bless you in my head. God bless you. God bless you. And it started with simple shit. And it was a daily training that took years for me to get there. And it started with simple shit. So if I see a black man that looked like me mobbing in a car of my dreams, I say, instead of saying, oh, he probably sell dope. Oh, he probably it is. Or he probably driving his chick's car or whatever. I would say, God bless you. God bless you. Man, God bless you. Good job, bro. Good job, brother. And I would say that every time I see somebody look like me in a car, and that was my discipline. That was me in the field practicing. So that it wasn't like I turned on this switch. It may took a year to where it was like a fake grin to like, a little mixed emotion grin to like finally, I feel this in my heart. I'm really happy for this person. And it took years, but you don't go from there to there without the practice. So start with small shit. Start with being around people that's doing better than you, doing bigger things than you, and genuinely repeating things to yourself until you really feel it. That's how you do it. Because without that, your subconscious mind won't allow you to achieve successes because you're going to say, what if I get judged like I'm judging other people? So I don't want the success because I don't want to feel with people, what I'm doing to other people. I know that if I look around, they feel the same way about me. That's what self-sabotage is about. That's why you got to free yourself from it. Now, I'm happy for you. I wish you more. So My wins, I only talk to it about a couple people. Him, this guy right here, maybe one or two other people. I don't really talk about wins like that. If I do, hey, I just copped this new car. What? Let me see it. Let's go. Man, that's dope. Because I know it's genuine. And vice versa. But I practice with other people. Oh, man, another dude from the hood just got investment, $10 million investment from the white boys. All the no's that I got, I could be on fire inside. What the fuck? How the fuck you do that? Man, fuck that dude. But I had to, but part of getting mine is saying, man, good job. Man, I'm super glad somebody did it. You open the way. And if you win and if you perform, you make it easier for brothers like me. We got time for one more? One more slide? Did I wear y'all out, or we got time for one more? All right. Let's talk about entitlement.
Entitlement. It delivers tirades and pronouncements that exhaust the people who work for and with us, who have no choice other than to go along. It overstates our abilities to ourselves, renders generous judgment of our prospects, and it creates ridiculous expectation.
So here's some truth. A lot of us are not as good or important as we think we are. A lot of us, our skill level at the thing that we desire to build our business is, on a scale of 1 to 10, is a 3. It's a fucking real pill to swallow. Entitlement says that it's an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. The truth is, the market says it's a 3. What number does it have to be in order for you to be able to generate revenue and take care of yourself from it? I guess it depends on the other elements. But know this. We have to be comfortable with the fact at times to tell us that our shit isn't good enough. Our product isn't good enough. Our quality isn't good enough. Our designs aren't good enough. Our marketing is trash. We have to be honest with ourselves. We run around with this entitled energy, and all it's doing is slowing us down and preventing us from getting to our bag. Next slide.
Control says it all must be done my way, even little things, even inconsequential things. It can become paralyzing perfectionism or a million pointless battles fought merely for the sake of exerting its say. It too exhausts people whose help we need, particularly quiet people who don't object until we've pushed them to their breaking point.
So if you have your own miniature version of the Courtsmith shoe, and you ain't built nothing, you ain't built your brand or started your company because you're waiting for your version of the Courtsmith shoe to come out, and if it don't come out like that, then you ain't doing it. You just spent years or hella time not practicing, which means you're worse off than you were before. You could have used all that time to practice, to prepare, but your control. See, I know this class don't think that way anymore because me and Nana have preached this so much, but so it ain't y'all. I'm talking to the outside people. Perfectionism used to be a badge of honor. I'm a perfectionist. It has to be perfect. Like perfectionists will die on the vine. They'll die. They won't put the shit out until it has to be perfect, and they be dead by that time. That's a mental disorder. You having to be in control of every fucking thing. There's too many variables, and you're not that smart. Let it go. Last slide. Oh, I thought this was the last slide. We'll call this the last slide.
Okay.
Paranoia.
Paranoia thinks I can't trust anyone. I'm in this totally by myself and for myself. It says I'm surrounded by fools. It says focusing on my work, my obligations, myself is not enough. I also have to be orchestrating various machinations behind the scenes to get them before they get me, to get them back for the slights I perceive.
So those are 3 emotions that can kill you in your business. Paranoia is another one. Now, healthy paranoia. Again, there's a healthy version of this, which means if you're continuously observant and curious, then that allows you to see things as they are. Once it gets into paranoia, you're down a rabbit hole in your mind, which takes lots of bandwidth over from you, which disallows you from really focusing on building your business and your core values. But if you always think people out to get you, they're about to hate you, the white man and this person and that, and my ops and this and that, then you don't got time to focus on the good shit, your business, what you building, because you're staying up late at night thinking about how to defend yourself against all these invisible and perceived enemies that you have, and you're not being the light that you are. So not just ego is the enemy in these moments. You have to look at these subcategories and really be honest with yourself. Any questions? Last questions? No. All right. I appreciate you guys here. I know I was hella fucking extra today. I had to be. Maybe I'll be back to my normal self next week. Maybe fucking not. Who knows? But I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you next week.